Hi, welcome guys. We've got a driver head-to-head video for you here. I've got the brand new Titleist TS3 Driver, and it's going to go up against the ever popular TaylorMade M3 driver. So maybe two drivers here with some adjustability with weighting, obviously neck sleeves here, and two models that may be more sort of aimed towards maybe slightly better player, or the player who maybe likes to look at that sort of slightly more compact head shape behind the golf ball. Going to put these up against each other. Got GC2 HMT set up here, so I'll give you some feedback on my honest feedback of both clubs, how they perform, how they feel, and obviously we'll back that up with some numbers and data off the launch monitor. Okay, so we're going to jump into the M3 driver first here. So obviously I've done review videos, there'll be loads of videos out with M3 being a very sort of popular driver. Obviously now got twist face, very new technology there for TaylorMade. Hammerhead, we've got movable weights on the Y track on the bottom of the golf club here, so we can shift CG around that club face. Obviously adjustable neck sleeve also to dial in loft and face angle. Now I've got both these with an X flex shafting, both set at 9.5 degrees, so I'm going to try and get these as close as I can spec wise here. The shafts are slightly different. I haven't got the two exactly the same shafts with the right adapters here to fit in, so but they're both very similar on the weight and they're both X flex. So we'll start off with the M3 first. We'll hit some shots, move into the TS3 which is a new driver from Titleist, and then we'll look at some numbers. Okay, so not the best of strikes there, a little bit toe strike, visually went okay, just worked up that left side slightly, but that's got out at 299, so not a bad start. Won't quite find the middle of the club face for that one, but hopefully we'll improve on that. So as we know, the M3 has that carbon sort of crown on here, so again saving weight here that can redistribute in other parts of the golf club here to help on forgiveness, increase that MOI, and try and help on that sort of low spin sort of characteristics of the golf ball. Oh, solid, nice flight. I do like the feel of the M3. I think that composite titanium mix, that duller sort of sound, that was a really nice sort of shot there. 288 carry, run out 312 there, that was good. So spin at 2.3. So good controllable spin there, which is good. I haven't got this on the lowest spin setting either in terms of the weights. I've got them fairly sort of neutral, with one at the front and one at sort of the back of that first centre track of the wide track system that TaylorMade have. Again, nice ball flight there, liking that. Seems quite a penetrating flight there. Didn't quite get that as long as that first one. Maybe slightly heel on that strike there. Didn't quite get middle it. Spin, yeah, spin's just crept up a little bit low heel on that strike. So obviously, as we all know, strike's just going to move these numbers around a little bit, which will change how that ball comes off in terms of speed, but also spin and a little bit of shot direction. But obviously distance also, it suffers when we miss that perfect sort of strike location in the face. Okay, that last one was a bit of a meaty one there at 315, really got a good strike, low spin, and obviously that's where that distance comes from. So there's a batch of shots hit with that M3 driver there. We're going to switch into the TS3, batch of shots, then we'll check some numbers out in a little bit more detail. Okay, so TS3 driver in our hands here now. So obviously a new, as shooting this video, very new release from Titleist, TS2, TS3. So TS3, 460cc head, little bit more of a different shape in the way they've shaped that 460cc in regards to TS2. So a little bit more sort of squat from front to back, a little slightly deeper in that club face there. So more of that smaller look against TS2, but it's still 460, so it's equally as forgiving is what Titleist sort of saying. But obviously TS3 here, we've now got that sure fit CG weighting system here, so similar to like TaylorMade, we can shift some weight around that club head, add some weight, take some weight away, move it from heel to toe, more so to really sort of track strike more than try and make it more draw and fade biased. Obviously still got the neck sleeve there, which in the Titleist I think is fantastic because there's a lot of options in changing obviously lie angle as well as face and loft there, which is good. Again, this is an X flex here and a very nice looking club. Put that down by the golf ball and it's nice. It's that black gloss finish, subtle little alignment aid on that arrow at the front, and sits very nice and sort of square. So we'll give this first one a hit. Yeah, it's nice. Very good penetrating flight. Just work that up that left side a little bit there. Just sort of got most things working a bit left today, which tends to be my sort of miss. But that's 307 there. That's spun around 2,300. Okay, just push that up the right there after missing that one left, first one. Not the best of strikes there. It'd be interesting to see what that does. That felt a little bit low in the face. It's got up to 299, so that's done pretty well. Yeah, spin at 2.9. So that's when my spin just creeps up when I just missed that strike a little bit low in the club face. So slightly different head technology here, just in comparison to the TaylorMade. As I said before, TaylorMade's gone titanium with that carbon crown, which a lot of brands have done, which again is saving weight, lowering CG. Now, Titleist is sort of saying they've tried that and in testing when I think they were obviously developing TS range, and it didn't actually provide any extra weight saving, so to speak, but they have made this crown 27%, I think it is, lighter than the 917 range of drivers. So, but they didn't have to go into that composite to actually do that. So I think their argument was, by the time you use the glue or the welding or whatever it is to put the composite, attach it to the body of the driver, that actually added a little bit more weight, which then didn't really make much of a difference. So they've actually kept it all titanium here, but doing the same sort of technology or same sort of process there in terms of trying to save weight on that crown and reposition it in the club face. Oh, that's a good strike. Beautiful flight there. Really nice. That could be a line ball, that. I just pulled it slightly. So good hit there. It's getting out to 311 there. That was nice. 168 ball speed. Yeah, again, nice. So it is a different sound then. I think because of that titanium or pure titanium in the Titleist against the titanium composite mix, the acoustics are very sort of different between those two drivers. The TaylorMade definitely a little bit more of a muter, not as metally sort of sound, if that sort of makes sense, and that's a little bit more of a crack to it. Both, for me, I like both very different on the sound, but both nice sounds for me. That flight of the Titleist is very nice. It seems to be coming off a little bit hotter maybe than TaylorMade, which we'll have a look at that ball speed. It'd be interesting to look at that when we check the numbers out a little bit more detail. Yeah, that could be a long one there. Hit that a little bit high on that toe section, which I know will up the launch, lower the spin. There you go, there's 316. I always know when I'm going to get that one. I'm going to hit that strike slightly high toe section of centre there. Okay, so there's TS3 hit, we've hit M3. Let's look at some numbers, a little bit more detail, and see how those drivers stack up against each other. Right, okay, so let's look at some numbers here. So we've got M3, TS3. So club head speed, 1 mile an hour quicker with TS3 there. Didn't feel that, to be honest. And say shafts are very, very similar on the weight there. So I don't know, maybe just felt more comfortable, swung it a little bit quicker, I don't know. It's nothing intentional there, obviously. Looking at ball speed there, a bit of a jump on ball speed. Now there is obviously 1 mile an hour extra club head speed there, which will equate a little bit to ball speed, but probably not 3.5, nearly 4 mile an hour difference there. So good extra bit of ball speed there with TS3. Launch wise, TaylorMade launched a little bit higher, TS3 a little bit low, which I saw with the Titleist fit in there. That's where I got fitted for TS2. A little bit higher launching, which suits me a little bit better. So maybe not my optimum launch there with TS3, but obviously we've got that extra ball speed, which is good. Spin numbers both very sort of similar there at 2,500 there. I'm just going to show you a couple of shots here because this is where, again, strike, and we know strike does make a difference. Going to look at this one here at 2,350 on strike. So there you go, quite a nice central sort of hit there. And then let's look at that one at spun at just under 3,000, 2,980. The difference of the strike, there you go, it's like 2 or 3 sort of grooves down. I know there's no grooves actually on the club face here, but on the picture here. So in that bottom section of the driver, then that just changes that spin number, which then obviously affects carry distance and total distance there. But look at the averages there, 281 against 284, so obviously squeezing a little bit more out there with TS3 because of that ball speed. Maybe if I could optimise my launch a little bit more, that's where probably TS2 would suit me a little bit more. I could squeeze more yards there. But obviously comparison between these two drivers and this particular test, TS3 edging it on ball speed, edging it on carry, and edging it on total distance. Okay guys, so there we go. So M3 against TS3. For my eyes, both very good drivers. Both a big fan of those two drivers, to be honest. Both different sounding. Nice sounds to me, but I probably prefer that TS3 sound possibly. Looks wise, that's a tough one because obviously they are very different on the looks with the colouring and what's happening on the top of the crown. But I'm a big fan of both, to be honest. I couldn't really separate on the looks there. Obviously, I'm enjoying that extra ball speed that TS3 is giving me there, and quite a consistent ball speed there. As I just moved my strike slightly there, which is very much what Titleist are promoting here. Is you drop off some speed are very minimal, so the consistency of speed between your good hits, miss hits are very tight, which is really good. So I think between those two drivers, there's not a lot to call there, but I probably would just edge towards TS3. That little bit extra ball speed, like the flight of it, like the sound of it, liking the look of it. So probably just edging it on that particular test for me. But obviously something for you guys to go out and test yourselves. Obviously there's loads of fitting options here, and you know, adjustable weights, neck sleeves on both drives. We're talking here, obviously shaft options as well. Got to go and get fitted. That's definitely a message from me. Like with any video I do, you've got to go and get fit yourself, try it yourself, test it, get measured, and try it alongside other drivers out there as well. Okay, thanks very much for watching, guys. Appreciate you watching. If you're enjoying the videos, do hit that subscribe button. Very much appreciated. Follow me on all my social media platforms, which are all in the description down below. Still offering online lessons, which a lot of you guys are hooking up and doing that. We're making some really good progress with a lot of golfers out there across the world, to be honest, which is great. So, you know, again, there's a link down there to a video which gives you a little bit more information on how that process works. Okay, thanks very much, guys, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all very soon.